Welcome back to New Record Day. My name is Ron, and today, folks, we're taking a look at the Salk Veracity STs, a speaker that is going to knock your socks off. Let's check these things out. Tucked away in an envelope, the Veracity STs came with a certificate of birth, proudly celebrating the end result of hard work and determination. It's obvious the entire team at Salk Sound not only knows how to build a gorgeous speaker, they are also willing to stand behind their product in full confidence. Also included with the Salks was a thank you letter signed by Jim, a getting started guide, and some suggestions that cover the basics on setting up the Veracities. Initially, when I reached out to Jim and came up with a game plan for the review, he said he wanted me to experience the same process a customer would be going through when dealing with Salk Sound. While I wasn't entirely sure what the heck he was talking about, an email confirmation and link to watch the entire build process, like going through a car wash with multiple steps leading up to a like-new vehicle, cleared up any confusion in a quick hurry. The Salk Veracities are a mass-loaded quarter-wave transmission line speaker in an MTM configuration. If I just lost you in the audio geek jargon, don't worry about it. Tech specs only lead to complexity. And we're going to spend more time on how the speaker sounds and less about what the speaker is. Rated at 4 ohms and a sensitivity of 88 decibels, these speakers are a pretty good option for a number of amps, and I'll be walking you through what happens when you feed them moderate firepower and what happens when you don't. Kicking things off, I started with my reference gear consisting of my Rogue Audio 99 Super Magnum and Stereo 100, my Pass XP15 with the gain set to 66 decibels, feeding my VPI Classic 2 outfitted with the Dynavector 20X2L. Plugging in my Audio Art SE speaker cables, the first thing I noticed is the Cardis Audio by-wire plate, which gives versatility to those who have the desire to run multiple amps with the Veracities. So before we get to the good stuff, I need to get something off my chest and make sure I drive this point home and beat this dead horse way past the point of exhaustion. The fit and finish on the Veracity STs is top shelf, second to none, and if my iPhone's camera can capture half of what I'm seeing in person, well, you get my point. These speakers are just plain beautiful. I can only imagine the work that goes into the fit and finish, and it leads me to one possible conclusion. Jim's crew consists of master artisans who seriously know a thing or two about making a speaker look remarkable. Tossing on Madeleine Peyroux's Half the Perfect World and hearing the Salk sing for the first time, a slow grin made its way up the corners of my mouth, eventually reaching its final destination just below my ears. I breathed in a sigh of relief, knowing this review is going to be relatively easy, and the bumps in the road were going to be very small. Truth is, I connected with these speakers in about 12 seconds into the track, and knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that these would be a speaker that I would enjoy reviewing. As Madeleine's voice floated a few feet behind and above my audio rack, the top-end extension was the first thing that grabbed my attention and confirmed the Veracity STs brought their big boy boots when it comes to Treble Town. The Salk Veracities are easy to place. I have thrown these speakers all over the room, and the Salks are forgiving enough for me to recommend them as a good option for just about anyone who wants a great-sounding speaker regardless of where they put it. Even when placed within 18 inches from the back wall and a few feet from the side walls, the Veracities behaved well enough that I could listen to them for hours without throwing any kind of a fit. With that being said, the final resting spot where the Veracities really seemed to come to life was a good 5 feet into the room and about 3 to 4 feet from the side walls. In this configuration, I had a nice little bowling alley straight down the soundstage, where vocals and anything panned central floated in space while stereo imaging of hard panned instruments tickled the outside edges of my ears.
Having the Veracities at 8 feet apart or more is highly recommended and takes these speakers from sounding big out of the box to holy crap humongous when given the room to breathe. Treble is possibly my favorite thing about the Salk Veracity STs. These ribbon tweeters sound sweet, transparent, and while I'd say they're a notch or two on the relaxed side of the swimming pool, detail freaks will definitely get what they're looking for without the added glass or brittle seasoning tossed into the pot. Attack and decay of cymbals hits sound natural and make way for what audiophiles describe as a sense of air. This is what the Veracities love to do, and my goodness sakes, they do it with authority. Switching things up to Metallica's Black Album to see if I would find myself reaching for earmuffs on the cymbal-crushing track, Sad But True, the only thing I was reaching for was the remote, to crank this up and see how long it would take before the police show up due to the sound complaints coming from the Bernay household. Reaching 100 plus decibels, I felt like I pushed my own comfort level to the absolute max, and even then, the top end was still something I could withstand without fatigue. Well done, Salk Sound. You guys smashed a grand slam home run in the game of top-end extension as far as I'm concerned. Tossing on the Bear family's fantastic reissue of Miss Etta James' Tell Mama, I was immediately connected to the opening track, smacking me in the face with Etta's soulful voice. As the song played, the Salks broke down every possible complaint that any audiophile might conjure up about transparency, resolution, or maybe timbre. Each checkmark that I would look for in an accurate representation of mid-range content being put to the test was passed with flying colors. Mid-range this great reminded me back when I did the review of the GR Research LGKs, and since then, every speaker that has crossed my way has been good, but the Veracities upped the ante and exceeded my expectations when it comes to stunning vocal presentation. Trying out acoustics and something more relaxed, I tossed on Vetivir's album To Find Me Gone. Within a few tracks, I was pretty much ready to phone in the rest of this review with sunshine and rainbows. The guys and gals at Salk definitely know what the heck they are doing. Making sure I wasn't feeling overly generous, I pulled out my own gallows and decided to go toe-to-toe with the Salks. After making my way through 3 to 4 of my favorite records, I came to the final decision that even though it is a close call, the mid-range tone of the Salk sounds a little more forward and much taller than my gallows. Detail is too close to tell them apart, and I'd say picking a clear winner might come down to musical preference. I think the gallows tended to sound better matched with rock and roll, acoustics, and male vocals, where the Salks seemed to love jazz, female vocals, and classical selections. Bass on the Salk Veracity STs is one of the most interesting magic tricks that I have ever heard a speaker produce. Looking at the front of the speaker and having a couple 6-inch drivers stare back at me is not the most intimidating thing in the world. However, looks are deceiving, and the Veracities will shock you at how low they can really play without additional support from subwoofers. There were more times than I can count where I was doing something around the house and a low note would fire away, leaving me there with my ears perked up, asking myself, what the heck was that? Like all good magic tricks, there is something happening here that I can't explain, and I'm not smart enough to articulate quarter wave designs or what exactly is happening inside the Salk's enclosure. These speakers simply sound great when it comes to deep, powerhouse extension. Do they hit as hard and low as my gallows? Not quite. Will they shake the heck out of your house and keep up with the constant bombardment of speedy death metal without any challenges? Probably not. I will say without hesitation that the bass on the Salks is accurate enough to shock most people with what they can do. Swapping out all my Rogue gear for a first watt F6 and a B1 passive preamp led to hours of fun and eventually convinced me that even with 50 watts at 4 ohms, the Salk sang just fine. Granted, there are some trade-offs, and while I lost a hint of authority in the bottom octaves of bass town, I didn't lose anything noticeable on the top end and mid-range, making this a compelling option for many folks with lower wattage amps. Combining the F6 with the Veracity's astonishingly great top end led to a combo that has to be heard in person to believe. For now, you're just going to have to take my word for it. It sounded good. Really, really, really good. It's difficult to do a direct comparison between the Salks and my own Gallows due to the fact that the 3.1s have long been out of production. I needed something with a fantastic sounding top end, great imaging, and serious enough bass to keep the hip-hoppers happy. Yanking out the Ryan R610s and tossing them into the main rig got me pretty close in a few areas, but the truth is, the bass extension of the Salk spanked the R610s and should, considering the build size difference. Trying to even out the odds against the smaller R610s, I brought some serious firepower thanks to the good guys at SVS Sound. Placing the sub in the middle of the room, hey, don't bash it until you try it. And locking in a seamless integration with the Ryans, we were in business, folks. The lowest octaves were there, the mid-range was there, imaging was there, resolution was there. The top end, well, guys and gals, I tried. I really, really tried, but that tweeter on the Veracities has a special place in my heart. With the mind-boggling vast array of finish options, top-shelf materials, and passion that has no rival, Salk Sound has more than earned a New Record Day stamp of approval. Jim has a real winner on his hands with the Veracity STs, and I consider them to be the beautiful end result of master artisans who make music sound gorgeous and engaging. Well done, Salk.
Well, folks, there you have it. The Salk Veracity STs are a stunning sounding speaker, and I absolutely loved being able to have the chance to review these. Jim, Salk, thank you so much for sending them out. We definitely appreciate it here at New Record Day, and you guys are most welcome here. Folks, if you have any other questions, leave the comments down below, send us the emails. You guys know the drill. Peace. Take it easy. Well, folks, click on the well, pokes. Well, pokes, poke the wells, but don't. We save the wells, actually. Testing, check. Testing, check.